Duolingo brought a new feature in one of its updates for Italian and other languages. Is it useful? What do I think? Find out in today's Shaggy's Ideas. What is the new feature, you may be asking? Well, if the title hasn't spoiled it already, it's Duolingo Stories. But before I begin, if you like content like this, make sure to drop me one of these. It lets me know that you want to see more content like this. So apparently Duolingo Stories has been a thing for a while now. Not just in Italian, but in other languages even before that. But since I stopped using Duolingo ever since I lost my streak, but I recently found out while revisiting the app during my injury. But what is Duolingo Stories? Duolingo Stories is just that, small tales in the language you are studying. For example, it could be a story about a man presenting his wife to his mother, a date, going out with the friends at the bar, going to the cafe. Small stories like that and different scenarios in which you're going to be hearing and reading in the language of your choice. These stories are completely different to the conventional Duolingo way of doing things. But how does it work? Well, during the story, you occasionally get sprinkled in a question about what's going on, or what did this person say? Little questions like that, usually in the form of multiple choice. And at the end of the story, you usually end up getting a pairing exercise. For example, in my case, it would be English and Italian pairing, right? Since I'm studying Italian. So it would give me words in English and in Italian, and I have to pair them, the ones that mean the exact same thing. They usually give me that at the end of the story. Sounds great, right? But the real question remains unanswered. Is it helpful? I definitely think it is, although in my experience you won't be memorizing much of these stories unless you are constantly replaying and practicing the exact same story. But I think it's great for making you understand and become more familiar with the sentences that could be used and happen in actual real life scenarios. After all, these are real sentences. What do I mean? In my experience, like I mentioned in my other Duolingo video, Duolingo has been known for unconventional sentences. And what do I mean? Unconventional sentences in the sense that you wouldn't really use them in real life, but since they're so out there, it's going to be easier to memorize. So it's a double-edged sword. Easier to memorize, but you doesn't really have any practical use sometimes. I mean, you won't usually say, he is in the sugar in Italian, now will you? Aiuto, lui è nello zucchero. Awkward. Exactly. Other than making you familiar with hearing these sentences and the flow of conversation, I feel it's great for doing something new and different in the Duolingo app. You know, kind of like changing the pace. You know, and it's something that you could do apart or extra to the original Duolingo experience. I feel like it keeps you on edge with the questions it brings to you, and it's not just a story where you just listen and you're just there and there. No, I feel like it's quite intuitive actually, because it's questioning what's going on. What happened here? What did this person say to this other person? Stuff like that. It's very interesting actually. It's intuitive because if you want to know what keeps going on, you gotta answer, you know? So you gotta find out the rest of the tale. In my opinion, I'm all for new and extra features. I'm not gonna say no. It's an excellent addition to Duolingo's main lessons, honestly. You don't want to listen to the stories? You could just continue with the main lessons. You're not forced to listen to these stories. Honestly, props to Duolingo for this. Like I said, I feel like it keeps things interesting. It's a nice change of pace. But like I mentioned in my 30 days of Duolingo, if you want to learn a language, especially if it's for free, you must read, hear, study, practice with many apps, books, and other resources, and try to find somebody that you could talk the language with, somebody that knows, because they'll be able to correct you whenever you mess up, as well as you get more practice, which practice makes perfect. I think you Duolingo users have a great new extra feature that you don't have to use if you don't want to, and it's something that, doesn't hurt to have something extra. Quite the opposite, like I mentioned. And for people that haven't tried Duolingo Stories yet, I definitely recommend you at least give it a shot. It's quite nice. Will it replace the original lessons on Duolingo? No. It's just something extra that will definitely help in my opinion. So give it a shot, you just might like it. Thanks for sticking all the way to the end, but wait, consider subscribing for more self-improvement videos like this one, whether it be language learning, physical, mental, anything self-improvement. And consider checking out the rest of the language learning playlist or the other video on the screen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next Shaggy's Ideas.